Thank you, David, and thanks for inviting ORPC to present remotely today. My name is Jessica Lee. I'm based in Toronto, and I work for ORPC Canada as Communication Manager. In this presentation, we'll look into marine hydrokinetic energy, some of ORPC's technology, and their ongoing projects. So, to give you a quick snapshot of who we are, ORPC stands for Ocean Renewable Power Company. It was founded 20 years ago, and we're headquartered in Portland, Maine, with a team of about 50 employees and offices globally, like in Canada, Ireland, and Chile. Our focus is to develop marine hydrokinetic solutions from free-flowing river and tides. So to start, I'd like to invite you to think about what water represents to you. So for some, it might be place of recreation, boating, fishing, swimming. For others, a source of food or drinkable water. And maybe it's something you feel strongly about preserving, the marine ecosystem and its species. For ORPC and for many of the communities we work with, water is a source of clean, reliable baseload power. So in Canada alone, rivers hold an estimated 15 gigawatts of hydrokinetic potential, and that's not even counting tidal energy. So the major rivers you can see in blue represent some of the most promising sites of hydrokinetic power. And it really shows how marine and river energy could be a key pillar of Canada's path to net zero emissions by 2050. So how is ORPC part of this transition? ORPC specializes in three main products with different specifications and power output that can all harness water movement. We have the RivGen, mainly targeting remote communities. We have some models running in Alaska for about 6 years, and one has been deployed in Manitoba. The TideGen is our tidal energy system and now operating in Cobscook Bay in Maine. And we're developing a larger multi-megawatt system called the Optimor in Europe. The right device will be chosen depending on the environment in which it is deployed. And all three products share the same turbine generator unit, which can reduce cost of capital as we scale up manufacturing. So let's zero in on our most widely deployed turbine called the RivGen. In terms of power production, a single RivGen can produce 40 to 80 kilowatt, depending on the water's flow speed. It operates best out of 5 to 10 meters of river depth, where those faster currents are more consistent. And to put that into perspective, one RivGen can produce enough electricity to power roughly 25 homes in the US, or provide enough charge for one electric vehicle to circle the globe 50 times in a year. So with all these three product lines, we've deployed 18 successful deployments since 2007. You can see on this world map where our projects are located, either delivered, underway, or in development. And today we're engaged in over 70 countries across the globe. So that brings me to the next point. How are these systems actually used? Broadly, ORPC's technology supports two main needs: powering industrial operations and critical infrastructure, and delivering clean renewable energy to remote and urban grid and microgrids. So to give you a concrete example, on the industrial side, we're currently collaborating with Big River Service Center, BRS, in Fort Providence. So this is a key stop shop between Edmonton and Yellowknife, with about 500 vehicles passing every day during peak season. Incentivized by a strong push towards decarbonization, the community approached us to help power 3 new electric vehicle chargers directly from their Mackenzie River. So our team conducted river characterization studies. We identified the optimal site near Fort Providence and designed a solution using our RivGens to connect to their local microgrid. And device deployment is underway in the upcoming year. Now, for community microgrid needs, we'll dive into Igiagig Village Council project in Alaska. So this community approached us back in 2010 to explore whether their Kvichak River could produce clean energy to help them transition away from diesel. And over nearly a decade, we worked closely to co-develop a power system that's tailored to meet their needs, leading to the first RivGen deployment in 2019 and a second one in 2023. So yeah, Gig is a pretty small village, about 70 people. They have a school, lodging center, medical center, an airport, and many more public infrastructures. So to supply this load, our microgrid brings together two RivGen, a Schneider battery system, and a smart control to deliver the most of the community's power, so about 60 to 90%. And diesel now runs only as a backup. This microgrid, which is powered by a stable baseload, could eventually integrate intermittent sources like wind and solar as the community grows. And this pilot project operated in some of the harshest winter conditions in the planet with fragile ice events and 24 inches of lake ice moving above the turbine, truly putting our system to the test. Therefore, the system has been designed for northern and remote conditions and can run safely year-round through ice, debris, and extreme cold. It's also completely silent and out of sight beneath the water surface. So, following this quick overview of our products, how about we dive into a deployment in a community? So, whenever we begin discussions with them, the first thing we do is listen. What are the resources they have? What must be protected? And what outcomes do they want? Maybe it's reducing diesel dependence, stabilizing power supply, or creating job opportunities for their future generation. So, from there, our job is to co design a project around those needs to make sure that they're heard and met so that they can accept and trust the project and feel like their livelihoods are being protected or improved. So, through river characterization, we'll measure flow speed, ice conditions, river depth, and fish habitat to identify the optimal site to deliver best performance and the least disruption to the environment and the community's way of life. So, we'll take Igyagig again, for example. When the village first approached us, they made one thing very clear. Subsistence fishing is at the heart of their daily life, and their river supports the world's largest sockeye salmon run. So before we talked technology, we sat with their leaders and mapped out their traditional routes and key fishing grounds. And by layering this local knowledge of the river into our technical assessments, we were able to pinpoint a deployment site that delivered strong performance, kept crews safe, and didn't interfere with their fishing practices. The other part is the technology itself. ORPC, ORPC's RevGen is intentionally designed to be fish friendly. So as you can see, the structure has open path above and below the turbine, and the rotors are foil shaped, not sharp blades, and they're only turning at about 60 rotations per minute. The system also includes built-in safety controls like an emergency brake to better coexist with the species living underwater. So in this video, um, an environmental monitoring program was also established, and it has been observed that small fish will pass safely through the device, while the larger fish, like salmon, will naturally swim around, as you can see on the edge, in slower flows. And to this day, no significant impact has been found. So we went forward with the project and we manufactured the Rivden system. For a sense of scale, it's about 15 meters wide and long and 3.5 meters tall. So it's a pretty substantial piece of equipment, as you can see. But despite the size, its compact and easy to assemble design makes it modular, making deployment feasible in remote regions. In many northern regions, like in Alaska or even Canada, access is only possible by plane or barge and trucks, and only a few times a year. So we transport the device into these communities using standard transport trucks to carry its modular components. Once on site, we'll train local community members to assemble the unit mounted onto the pontoons and prepare it for deployment on the water. So we use local vessels and we guide the turbine to the optimal site on the riverbed, and deballast to let it settle fully underwater, as you can see. Yes, so here's just a picture of how the system works once fully operating underwater. And this is how the RivGen will harness the river movement, water movement. So to this day, we continue supporting the community through environmental monitoring, inspection, and yearly maintenance, and helping them build their local capacity over time. And the project has set record for the longest running hydrokinetic project in all of America. So to wrap up, the Igiakik project is just one of many deployments where we matched communities' needs with the right hydrokinetic solution. And although there's no one size fits all, careful resource assessment and close partnership guide our every deployment. So as we grow, our mission stays the same, improving people's lives and environment through sustainable energy solutions. And yeah, thank you for listening.